Hello and welcome to Clockwork, Noodles, the channel where we are getting to grips with the new season and what the season has to hold. I have been keeping my little beady eyes open and waiting for an anime that may replace The Detective Is Already Dead, just in case once we get to the end of the 3 episodes I decide to drop it. This might be the anime that replaces it. It's an anime that I was really excited to watch anyway because I am hype. I love slice of life. I can't actually exaggerate to you guys how much I love slice of life. I don't know how well a slice of life is going to do on my channel. Probably nobody is going to be watching this review. However, I want to talk about this anime because the first episode has made a bit of an impact with me. So before we get going, make sure you are subscribed to the channel so you don't miss out on all the weird and wonderful things coming your way as I dabble in new medias and do random projects whenever they inspire me to do so. And make sure you are on a Discord channel because you get notified whenever anything goes up. So if it's a random video or a planned video, you get a notification right to your phone. Episode 1, let's go. Now I'll give you the Japanese really quickly for the title as well. This is Shiroi Sona no Aquatope, or the Aquatope on the White Sands. This is an anime that starts very, very quickly and shows us how subtle and detailed the anime world wants to be. It is a contrast. We open in a beautiful, bright, slow-paced, cool coastal town of Okinawa with the quiet beaches and, like a good slice of life anime, plenty of long shots on just wood or sparkling beaches and seas in the background. There's also a hint of mystery too, as we see a shrine deity passing around, possibly accepting a gift, as we see one of our main characters praying for help. And it's just gorgeous. It's vivid colours, and immediately I was soaked up into the anime. The first thing which really struck and got kudos in my books, our comparison to the washed out city of perhaps Tokyo. I didn't catch what city we were in. It's washed out. Look at those washed out colours compared to those beautiful bright coastal colours we just saw. It is the washed out colour of the urban sprawl. Suddenly the waves have been replaced by car horns. We see an empty room and we see a very bright, overexposed outside, as the city can be quite overbearing at times. It can be very bright lights, big cities, especially at night time. The stars that you'd see in Okinawa are now just lights of the city around, light pollution. And then we see the redness of the shoes. Now, the shoes are very, very vivid compared to all of the washed out colours that we've seen so far. And this is done on purpose because these shoes are a symbol of Fuka's dream, the dream that motivated her all along up until this point in her life. These shoes are bright. Red is also a very passionate colour. We know she was very passionate initially for the goal that she wanted to make it in the idol industry. She wanted to make it into entertainment. They definitely are very bright in comparison to the washed out city, and this is because generally dreams are often brighter than reality. A lot of our dreams are beautiful and bright and shiny, they excite us, but sometimes when it comes to reality, they're not all what they quite cracked up to be, or maybe we just can't achieve them. And that is going to be a theme that we are going to bear down on, because that is the story with Fuka, who didn't quite achieve the dream that she really wanted to do. Again, look at this gorgeous washed out headshot. It's absolutely gorgeous at this point as well. The dream has faded. Fuka is a bit more faded out. She hasn't really got any motivation anymore. She's just about to quit the one thing that she's been working towards quite often enough. And she even gets to overhear some painful words coming from her managers, which must be very painful to actually hear, because you yourself, you might have an inkling of the fact that, it's not going very well. But to hear somebody else, especially somebody who's been managing you, say it themselves, it's painful. It's a hard truth. But she still has the guts to be very polite and thank them. So much kudos to her. It's a very beautiful colour palette. I love the colour palette. This anime is definitely one of the brighter animes of the season. But I also love the art style. I love the design. I think it's very smooth. I think the initial intro to our characters as well, very, very smooth. And you generally get all you need from this first episode about the two characters. You get the idea that Fuka is washed up at this point. She doesn't know where she's heading. She's lost. She ends up running away and ends up in Okinawa just by letting things just take her on a whim, and as if something was calling out to her, telling her, you need to come to Okinawa. I also like the fact that when she's on the phone to her mum, We see the very bright exotic country that her mother is in. It's bright, it's sparkly, there's gold there as well. And that's all that holidays really are. Holidays are very exciting, they're very bright. This is what you get. You get that beautiful exotic vibe coming through this. But again, the mum really just hammering home that it's okay, we'll throw you a, cheer up party. It's not really what you want to hear, knowing that your dream has kind of come to an end. Which is where Okinawa starts to call out to our main character, and somehow by fate, Fuka just travels. She does ups and goes. She's so lost at this point. She's going out on a whim. Perhaps it's fate. I have to admit the sound design for this first episode as well is nice. I really kind of got that calming motion when we're by the sea, and when we swap over halfway through the episode to meet our second main character, it's a very big upshift. It's major scale, it's poppy, it's happy, it's really, really positive. I am loving the design. I really hope this is what Okinawa actually looks like, because I really want to go after watching this. If anything, this anime is just great promotional material for Okinawa, and just seeing all of those tanks, all of the sea and the fish tanks all around it as well. Fun fact for you guys as well. I share so much with you guys. I am the noodle queen, of course. I actually work every single day for past 7 years with fish. I know a lot about fish. So I've got some very interesting bits and pieces. I could tell you how to set up a tank. I could tell you about the nitrogen cycle. I could tell you every little goddamn detail about fish, guys. So I'll be able to help us along the way, because we do see some real fish in this anime. So I can talk a little bit about them when we get there. I do like the fact that immediately we've got all these touristy shirts are hanging up. We've got the merchandise and the fortune teller. How amazing was the fortune teller sequence? The fact that she's probably fake, and she's kind of set her eyes upon a tourist that's a tourist hotspot. It definitely really felt like a tourist hotspot, and she's just cashing in on all of the travellers. 3,000 yen per 10 minutes, of course. This is actually accurate. When I went to LA, there were fortune telling tarot reading everywhere for the same price, literally 30 quid for 10 minutes. Some people are hard pressed to even make 30 quid an hour. So these people charging a lot of money. But we do get to see the fact that she is kind of cold reading. She spots the suitcase tag and goes, you are travelled, you've come far. It's a lot of cold reading. This is why I don't really like the ones you see on the streets, because it's like you're just making guesses from all the bits of information. You're just doing a Sherlock Holmes, if anything. You're reading somebody from just going, you're looking and go a bit shabby today. Maybe you're not. Maybe you're stressed. I don't know. The twist at the end, though, was absolutely fantastic and worth it. Just seeing the fact that she ends up revealing about her cheating husband and her cheating boyfriend, and she ends up becoming quite great friends with Fuka. I like this. We finally met with friends today and all of this. This is great. And she ends up giving her a decent reading, telling her to head in a certain direction. I like it. I think that twist ending of her actually ending up being friends and her doing it like that, it's great. I wasn't expecting this to actually happen. The details in the environment are fantastic. You can read the bus board behind her as she's walking around. You can see all of the tourist shops all around as well, the t-shirts and the merch as well. Everything. There is a lot of really nice detailed shots, which I expect from a slice of life. This is a very fantastic first episode. It's strong in my eyes. I love the lighting. Look at the lighting on the face suddenly. It is beautiful. The glow on the face is now warm, opposed to that very harsh city light that was on her face earlier. It's gentle. The sky is bright. We just get a frame of a hermit crab, giving us that goodness of a slice of life. It sets the scene. The change of music as we now introduce our new lead. Our new lead is Kukuru. I can call her Cuckoo, right? I can call her Cuckoo. Cuckoo, fine. Cuckoo is good. It's very, very different from what we had with Fuka. It's now bright, it's upbeat, it's hopeful as well. And look at the details once again in this fish. You can just see every single scale. Beautiful details. This anime definitely got a good art team on their side as well. Kukuru's introduction as well through these catch-up classes. So we can kind of guess that she does say, I've skipped a lot of school, so she's a lot more interested elsewhere. She's very carefree. Her interest in fish is slightly bordering on obsession, but some people are just that passionate about fish. And we get to learn about squids and their very short lives, which is very, very accurate. We do get to see a lot of blue used for her. We've got hair, her eyes, everything. All just giving us the idea that she's got this connection with the sea. She also seems very distracted. I think she's thinking about her home life, something she's trying to hide, because we do get her looking at some school reports of some kind. And she does, I think, at some point mention uncle, so perhaps she hasn't got parents. We haven't got too much of that information, but she's definitely distracted by something. But Blue as well, that calmness, that more carefree nature, which we all get with her. It's definitely a very positive thing. And blue as well is a healing colour. I have a feeling that Cuckoo is going to be a healing factor for Fuka. Our sea deity is seen once again presiding over everything. Very interesting. I also like the perhaps little sprinkling of supernatural that's going on in this anime. And perhaps as well, we know that the sea deity heard Cuckoo's wish for help. She was asking for help, but what were you asking for help with, I wonder? Fuka ends up meeting a very kind stranger, very, very lucky for her, and she's given a hint to end up going towards the aquarium. It's a bit of a heads up. But the atmosphere inside the aquarium, I love it. The use of CGI as well. At this point, I think it really worked. The dark atmosphere, suddenly seeing into these very bright windows into the world of fish. It's bright. Fish live in a very different world compared to our own, and there is that wonder when you go into an aquarium and you want to see all the different fish and how they are. I think the aquarium thing's definitely worn off me because I see fish on a daily basis. They are simply places of inspiration and education. I did say initially I wasn't going to talk about the anime because of some people don't like aquariums, and that is fair. I think there's some aspects of aquariums I don't like. I don't really agree with the whole you can touch this animal thing. I think let them alone, let them do their things, let them, especially conservation. I definitely support conservation projects. You don't need to touch the wildlife, guys, especially when you're touching rays and things. They don't need that all over them. That's the aspect of this anime I was worried about, but I think this anime's got a lot more going for it than maybe this side. I think there's a really heartfelt story going on as well. There is also the use of blue seen in every single worker behind the scenes. We also saw the guy on the phone. He's got blue just faintly in his hair as well. Everybody in this area looking forward to fish, loving fish as well. To Fuka, we see that this aquarium ends up being a sanctuary for her very busy head. People go there on dates. People go there just to think. They're very calming. Fish tanks are calming. I heard today from one of my many customers that he ended up getting fish tanks installed into a very busy office because they're calming. Blue is a very calming colour. Fuka ends up connecting to one of the algae eaters. We would call this a cleanup crew fish. This is great fun just to educate you guys. There are different types of fish in an aquarium. A lot of fish end up making mess. This is the ammonia that they produce. The cleanup crew, what you're seeing here, this could be a pipe cleaner. This could be many different things. I'm not quite sure. She does give you the Latin for it. I don't sell this type of fish, so I don't know what this kind of fish is, but it's a cleanup crew nonetheless. Cleanup crew end up maintaining their own environment. They eat the algae, which is 100% true, and therefore they don't produce enough ammonia to outweigh their positives. So they're actually very beneficial to the tank that they are in. Is a really nice way of saying that Fuka doesn't realise how much of a good impact she was having. She maybe isn't seeing the full picture. If Fuka is connecting to the idea of her being a cleanup crew fish are very important to the tanks. If anything, fish like this, who haven't got any points to them, they don't really produce much ammonia. They are probably the best things to have in a tank because they definitely maintain the environment. Fuka has worked very, very hard to get her dream to where it was, to try making her dream a reality. She just didn't give up until eventually it just got too much. And I'm not going to slam her for that. Life is hard. I've had many dreams that just couldn't really get working, and I'm never going to beat myself up over them. At least I tried, is all we can really say here. She perhaps doesn't realise how beneficial she really was. Perhaps she was actually overlooking her own talents. Despite Fuka's hard work, she ends up being overlooked time and time again, and she ends up sadly watching from the sidelines, which must be the hardest thing. Having your dream so close, but so far away. The segment in the middle, which gets a bit twisty and maybe there's elements of fantasy coming in, I actually think it's just a metaphor because it ends up that she's kind of spacing out at this point. I believe it's a metaphor. I believe it's the fact that she's being swallowed up by the water. It's the metaphor of her drowning under the weight of the stress, under the fact that she feels lost. She feels at this point unable to breathe as well. We also see a very big fish around her that she feels like she's tiny, insignificant in the world that she's in. In her world, in her tank, she is the smallest thing there, hiding away, not really being noticed by anything, and there's these bigger fish being noticed. I like this as a metaphor, and I think it's very, very clever. Eventually, she ends up calming down, just accepting, this is me, I'm here, and she does thank. She thanks them time and time again. That's the kind of character we saw her as. She thanked her managers, even though they were putting her down. She still thanked them for their hard work, which you see. She thanks the fish for trying their best, but she says, it's all gone now, I have nothing left. I love the lighting. I love the fact that you can see her hair shimmering. It's weightless. Really does give you the fact that weightless feeling, the feeling that she could actually be in a fish tank right now. It makes you really feel like she's floating. It's really a beautiful little touch. There's also the cleaner fish. Did you see the cleaner fish in her hair as well? Because that's how she feels. That's what she relates to. She feels that she is the cleaner fish in the tank, which is why I believe this is a metaphor. And that is when the two finally meet. End on her saying, "Welcome to the aquarium," where we also hear the name, I think it's Kijimana, perhaps the deity, which I think we're seeing presiding over everything, lurking in the corners. So I think might be the reason for the hallucination section as well, but I still believe it's a very nice metaphor. A very educational anime, but it's also one which has got a very heartfelt plot behind it. We are meeting two girls on two different paths who one is feels completely lost, the other definitely seems to need help with something. Perhaps their meeting is something which is by fate because we've got the deity presiding over everything, and eventually that they're going to be able to both find their ways through a chance meeting, which is probably going to be more than just a meeting. I would love to know if this is actually a real aquarium in Okinawa. You'll have to tell me below. But I think it's gorgeous. I really want to go to Okinawa. It's really beautiful anime. But I am very, very hyped about this. I think it looks gorgeous. I think it's definitely going to fill my slice of life quota this season. And I think it's got a heartfelt story, which I think I'm going to really get behind. I love an anime with details. I love an anime with colour. That metaphor sequence, I think I'm in for something really good here, guys. You'll have to let me know if you agree down below. And again, if you are watching a slice of life, what's your favourite slice of life? One of my favourite slice of lives, which is kind of mixed in with a bit of supernatural, is things like Natsume. It's things like Nonyon Bayuri. I love Nonyon Bayuri. It's a really odd one as well. It just follows kids growing up in a rural kind of Japan. I like slice of lives when it comes down to more the rural aspect. What's it like living in a countryside compared to the busy, bustling lives of Tokyo? So let me know down below in the comments below, and I will see you guys again soon. Have a good day, guys. Bye-bye.